What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Monkey Trap.
Who's in the trap today?
And away we go.
All right, today it's the Monkey Trap, and whoa, we got Mark Cuban. Do I call you Mr. Cuban, Mr. Mark, Coach? I don't know.
You got a couple of choices. You can call me shithead, you can call me yo baby, or you can call me Mark. I'm good with all of them.
Well, for starters, I'm going to go with Mark, and we might get into some of those other ones here in a little bit. So my first deal is how we feeling this year about the old Mavs? I mean, we're getting rolling.
Yeah, we're rolling right now. You know, knock on wood, we got, we've won 5 in a row, and hopefully we can keep it going. I mean, we've got a good team, and we're getting better. That's the key. And as long as we stay healthy, we had some COVID problems for a while, and I think those are past us now. We're past them. And so I like what we got.
Well, I know that the Texas Ranger Stadium got a little bit of blowback for opening up 100% for the home opener last Monday. How are we doing at the AA? Are we at 50%? Or?
The AC, we're up to like 6,000. We have a game tomorrow night against the Bucks, so we'll be at about 6,000 people. And so actually, if you want to go to a game, you can walk up now. And we typically, if we have some no-shows, because we try to pre-allocate who all is going from our season ticket holders, if we have some no-shows, we'll open up some tickets, and there's usually 50 to 100 tickets now available for walk-ups.
No kidding. Well, yeah. I used to be able to just walk out of my apartment right there and walk up, but I live a little bit different. Speaking of where we live, you didn't want to come down here today in person. You're just up the street. Yeah,
what can I say? I mean, it's still a little bit crazy. And, when I show up, people like to hug me, and people like to get real close and take pictures. And it's really not even about me so much, because I've been vaccinated now and I'm good. But I got a 17-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old daughter and an 11-year-old son. And I'm trying to tell them they still got to be really, really, really careful. And if I tell them I'm going to go down there and hang out with Richard Rawlings, you know what they're going to say to me? Yeah. They're like, what?
Hanging out with Richard Rawlings.
Hanging out with him and you won't let us go out? Come on now.
Yeah, hanging out with Richard Rawlings, the last thing you got to worry about is COVID. But I got to tell you, we only live about a half a mile apart now. I live down I wouldn't say your hood, but I'm just down the street from you. But I would definitely tell you that I'm on the other side of Northwest Highway, which I consider the tracks. So
whatever.
I'm on the wrong side of the tracks.
Whatever, neighbor. We're gonna have to come up and visit.
Oh, I'll hold you to that when this COVID stuff's over.
For sure.
But so you got a lot of stuff going on, and one of the things that I was reading about, jumping into what I could pull on the net and things like that. I know that we're happy about the Mavs. I'm going to take you up on coming out there, but this NFT thing.
Right.
I'm trying to learn about it, and because being where I'm at in life, I feel like I might have a chance to sell
absolutely.
some NFTs. And you just recently announced you're doing a thing kind of like Shark Tank. Tell me about that. It's kind of like it's called the pitch, I think.
Yeah. And I don't really have all the details here, but effectively, me and Snoop Dogg and Ashton Kutcher and Guy Oseary, who is YouTube's manager and does a lot of music stuff, are going to have a pitch contest where if you've got an idea for a business around NFTs, we want to hear it. And we're going to give away up to $1 million to these companies. And so it's a new area. It's really cool. It's really interesting. And we want to see if there's something, crazy that we should be investing in.
Well, I want to throw my name in the hat on that, because
come on.
I started thinking, and you tell me if this works, because the NFT is a non-fungible token, and I think you can sell like a limited amount of them, or you could sell one. I wanted to take the top 5 of my cars and make NFTs out of them.
Sure.
And sell those NFTs, but they actually could be turned in to accept the car. What do you think about that?
Okay, so 2 different things, right? So I think taking pictures of your cars and turning them into limited edition NFTs is good, right? Just like people buy posters of their favorite cars, it's just a digital version of a poster in a lot of respect that has been imprinted with a serial number that makes it a collectible. And, the fact that it's yours is what makes it a collectible. Now, if you try to connect it to something physical like the car, so you have to deliver the car, that actually makes it harder, because you already know what the value of the car is. And adding the NFT to it doesn't add a ton of value, right? It actually makes it more difficult to resell. So if if you put up this, when I was on the show, right? What was the 55 Chevy or something that we had back
55
then?
Ford, yes.
Ford, right. And so if we took a picture of me and you in the 55 Ford and we created an NFT, and there are only 10 of them, and we put them up for $1 ETH each, $2,000 each, we could probably sell all 10 of them, but we'd also make a royalty if somebody else decided it was worth more and one of those 10 people resold it, let's just say for $2,500, we can make 10 or 20% of that back and make more money. Every time it's resold from now for the next 100,000 years, we'll make a royalty off of that sale, or you'll make one when you do one of your cars. Now, if you connect a car to it, supposedly, you know, by the rules of the game, that NFT and that car are supposed to stay connected. And if it gets resold again, then you'll get your 10 or 20%. But think about that. If someone else is trying to buy that car the second time and they have to pay 20% of it out, it's kind of like in the auctions, right? And Meacham and everything, the
Yes.
buyer premium and all that kind of distorts what the real value is. And so I'm not as big a fan of connecting physical stuff to it. I think, you know, people are going to want to own Richard Rawlings stuff, right? NFTs. And if you just do just the NFT with nothing attached to it, then you get to keep all that money. And if it's sold and resold, you get to keep all that money. Like I did an NFT you know what Cameo is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I did my own NFT version of Cameo. So I put out a video that I minted into an NFT, and I put out 20 of them saying, hey, this is Mark. If you want me to do a custom message, this, you know, just buy this NFT. And when you take ownership of it, it unlocks a special email address, and it says how to unlock it. You send me an email, and as long as it's short and legit and it's not me selling something, I'll record whatever video you want me to record. And so I sold 20 of those for $2,500 each. So 50 grand in about 2 minutes. And then people resold them. And I ended up doing the videos and making like $70,000 with about 15 minutes worth of work. And so doing unique and cool stuff like that is so easy with NFTs. But if I had attached something physical and said, and I'll send you an autograph, right? An autograph picture. Now, all of a sudden, reselling it gets a lot harder. Me having to deal with it was a lot more aggravation because I got to ship it and all that shit and make sure it gets delivered. So just keep it simple. Just do stuff that's 100% digital, because the millennials that work for you are too old, but like the Gen Z people in particular, everything they own that's of value. They don't own houses. Maybe they have a car, but they probably use Uber or Lyft.
Yeah.
Everything they own that's of value is digital. So they're used to buying and selling digital shit. I mean, you know, the worst day in a Gen Z person's life is when they have to look at their phone and decide what picture to delete because they've run out of space on their phone. You know, that's how into digital they are. And so, you know, just making an NFT all digital, making it a collectible, making it unique to you, making something that will resonate with your fans, that's what you sell.
I think I like that idea. We've been studying on it, and I like your idea there where you leave the message. Does it go a little bit further? Like, say, the next person, if you leave a message, does that NFT just kind of stay like that? Or does the next person get a chance to buy it?
No, you just get, so like if you bought that NFT, so you bought the NFT that says, hey, buy this NFT and unlock the email address and I'll send you a message. It just, so, and then you buy it and then you send me an email at that special email address. I'll record it and I'll just send it to you and it ends there. I don't give you permission to turn it into another NFT, although you could, right? And,
so it just dies, or it just stays right there.
It just stays. It's just a video that they use, right? And then a couple of people have asked me to turn it into an NFT, and I'm like, sure, if you pay me for it, you can turn it into an NFT and we'll sell it. But just think of it like Cameo, where it just stops right there and you just did the favor.
Well, that's exactly kind of what we were thinking about with the car was we make sure that these NFTs, this limited edition, sell for enough value of the car. But remember, it's like Kings Leon did a thing where they put a lifetime ticket as part of the NFT, meaning you can show up to any concert, which is really cool. But what ends up happening is everybody does the math in their head as opposed to the emotional buy. What's this car worth? That's what I'll pay for the NFT. And you have to make sure that that's the minimum bid. And then maybe you make a little bit more over it. But it's not really an emotional, I love Richard Rawlings type buy. I got
Whereas
you.
if it's an emotional Richard Rawlings type buy, there's no way to really value it. It's just what it's worth to that person. And so now all of a sudden, if it's, it could be you sell 1,000 of them for $100 a piece, right? It could be something simple. You could do your own, car punks, right? Which, crypto punks is a new thing where or an old thing that's made new. But you can do your own versions, I guess is the point. You can come up and be creative, but they're things that your fans are going to like, because the people that are the most successful with NFTs have online following where people are willing to put in the time to learn to collect Richard Rawlings or Mark Cuban stuff.
Yeah, and there's a lot of following. We've got a ton of followers all over the world.
Exactly.
I mean, we're in over 100 countries.
But not all those followers can afford to buy a car when you want them to buy the car.
But they can afford to buy an NFT.
Right, exactly. They can afford to buy a picture of Richard and his favorite car, his 5 favorite cars.
So besides this this business that you're starting with these guys, is part of that business going to be an NFT management company or?
Yeah, there's different types of agencies that are starting to do that right now as they figure it out. The reality is it's really hot right now, so prices are inflated and they're going to come down and normalize, and they're already starting to do that to a certain extent. So it's more. We're not looking to start an agency per se, because it's really just normal, building up your fan base and then educating them some on how crypto works, because it's a little bit more difficult than just buying a pair of socks on Amazon or buying a t-shirt on your website. And so you've got to educate them with some of that, get them, with a wallet, get them to buy some crypto and all that kind of shit.
So you're making like 70,000, you said, in about 15 minutes. I got to get on this gravy train because I'm looking at your Insta here and I've got a considerable amount more followers, maybe.
Okay, rub it in. Like, I'm not good at, I don't put in the Insta time. I only got like 1.6. How many do you got?
What do we got?
2.4.
2.4. And then what do we got on Facebook? 6.5?
No, 2.4 on the Triple R.
Yeah.
And then 4.4 on GMG.
So I've got about 6.3, 6.4 total on Insta and around the same on Facebook, right?
Yeah, about
Yeah.
total we're at 19.5 million.
19 million total across the board.
That's not impressive. I got 8.3 on Twitter, I think. I got 6.6 on LinkedIn. I don't even know what I have on Facebook because I rarely use it. So, okay, we're
close.
We're there.
Well, I want to make $17,000 or $70,000 in 15 minutes. I have
so
to do this.
So what I did was, so you can go to Mintable, you can go to OpenSea, you can go to Rarible. There's a variety of places to do it. And you just so here's what I did. I took a picture because I wanted to experiment with this stuff, right? And so I gave you one example, but when I first started, I just took a picture of me walking into the American Airlines Center to go work out. And I used a site called Mintable, and I posted it up there. I went through the process of taking this picture. You take the picture, you mint it. That's what it's called, putting it onto the blockchain, which turns it into an NFT. And then I shared it on Twitter, and within minutes, all 20 that I had priced at $25 each were gone, and they were reselling over and over and over again, so that I made, $20,000 net to me with about 2 minutes of work there. And I've just done this, every now and then I'll do the exact same thing with different types of stuff. And I've probably made $300,000 in like 3 hours.
That is absolutely awesome.
It's insane. It's insane. Now, a lot of that is people deciding that I underpriced it and they resell it over and over again. And I get my 10 to 20% of that. And that's what makes these things unique, right? And that's what got me all excited, because anything else you've ever done, online, if you sell it, that's cool. But if it's ever resold, there's probably no market for it and you get none of it. Now, because it's serialized, the digital file was serialized, that's turning it into an NFT. Now, every time it's resold, you can set the royalty rate that you want. And I typically set it from 10 to 20%. And so I keep on getting paid. It's the gift that keeps on giving, and it's just amazing.
I'm going to have to study up on that, or get my millennials, or hire a Gen Z or something, or maybe come see you, because I've got the following, and I've got the things, whether it's the cars or the Richard Rawlings lifestyle or whatever. So definitely got to get into that.
So all you got to do, just to do something, the first time, do it real simple so you can just see it. Go to mintable.app, just take a picture, like take a screenshot of this right now, right? And then just mint it and mint it to the Ethereum blockchain. And then one of the options and then set a price and just say it's $100 $100 and you're going to sell 10 of them, right? So it's just $1,000, but set the royalty to 20%. Then go on social media and say, hey guys, I just minted my first NFT. It's only $100. Let me know what you think, and just watch what happens.
I'm gonna do that. I gotta see if I can beat your 70 grand.
You will.
You will.
See what
happens. So you're into crypto. You've got it kind of spread out. Everybody knows you're about 60% Bitcoin and about 30% Ethereum, or however you say that. Ethereum. And what have you. I got to tell you, I finally got into the profit zone. I bought Ripple a while back when it was around 90 cents. Threw 10 grand at it, and now I'm up to about $1.10 a share. I haven't looked at it today.
I saw it pop up.
Yeah, and I was watching the Dogecoin or Dogcoin, or I don't know how they say it. Yeah, Dogecoin. And I was watching the hype around that, but I don't understand a lot about the crypto. I mean, to me, I play with what I know about. I got, a warehouses full of cars here. That's what I know.
And that's what you should do, right? That's what's smart, right? Crypto's technology, so it was easy for me to learn. Cars, I don't know shit. Right.
That was going to be my question. What kind of car do you drive?
Now I just got a Lamborghini SUV, the Urus. And so that's before that I had all Lexuses, and I had a couple of Teslas, and I actually have the new Tesla Plaid on order. But I like the Lambo because, the Tesla was the first car. Lexus had decent power. Tesla's got good power, and then the Lambo blows it away. Right. And so that the Tesla gave me a taste, and then the Lambo, like for an SUV to drive the kids around and have some power to it, I like it.
Yeah, for sure. But is the Urus faster or more powerful than the Tesla with the ludicrous mode?
No, not even close. Yeah,
I didn't think so.
No, because you get in the ludicrous mode and it's like, oh shit, I better not go in ludicrous mode. I'm gonna get in trouble.
I love it. Yeah. So no cars. So when did you get down to Dallas from when you were born in Pittsburgh and went off to school for a while?
So I went from Pittsburgh to Indiana University in Bloomington. A bunch of my buddies came down to Dallas, and I was broke, and I was like, okay, I need to go somewhere. I want to go somewhere warm. I had a Fiat X19. 1977.
A Bertone? Like the X19 Bertone?
Yeah, the one with, the top came off, right?
A Targa, yeah.
You looked like a can-opener type thing. And I had one of those, had a hole in the floorboard. It was a great car, right, when I first bought it, but it fell apart. I learned very quickly that Fiat stood for fix it again, Tony. And then
exactly.
So I went down to Dallas with that car, barely made it, and got a job working as a bartender at a club called Alon's. And I came down here because my buddies that were down here from Indiana were like, dude, the economy's a whole lot better. Because back then, the economy, unemployment, the year I graduated from college was the last time unemployment was over 10%. And so they were like, the economy's better, the weather's definitely better, and the girls are unbelievable. So you got to come down. So I was like, I didn't hear the first two. I'm like, I'm on my way.
I can vouch for that. I've lived here my whole life. Dallas has always had a strong set of nice young ladies to choose from.
Yeah, and they didn't choose me, unfortunately, but they were there.
Yeah, because you had some offices down there in the Deep Ellum area.
Yep.
For a while. Yeah, back then when you were over there and everything was kind of, the buzz was starting and all that.
Well, you don't even know the story then. Like, so one of the things that we did. So I got fired. I had my bartending job. Then I got a software job, got fired from my software job. But then we started throwing, this was mid 80s. We started throwing these parties, and we started making a little bit of money. They started getting really big. And so we found this warehouse where they stored Chuck E. Cheese characters at a place. It was crazy. And it was a place called Clearview Window Company. And it was in Deep Ellum, just this big monstrosity. There was nothing in Deep Ellum, nothing. And so we rented the place for $400 a month, started throwing these parties, and literally we would print up these business cards that had the address on Elm Street, whatever it was, 28, 25, whatever.
Whatever.
Elm Street, there was nothing there. And we went from those parties, they turned it into Club Clearview, and then the Blind Lemon, then the Bone opened up.
I love the Blind Lemon.
Yeah, so that was all started from our parties. That was the whole start of Deep Ellum.
You know that if you get the whole set of the Chuck E. Cheese guys that had the stage, that it doesn't matter what music you plug into it, they play?
I did not know that. Now you tell me.
I missed a whole set of those about a year ago. It was on eBay or Craigslist or something, and I was going to buy them to have at my shop here because you can plug in Snoop Dogg or anything,
really?
and they'll still just move to the beat. They don't care.
I had no idea.
Yeah, they're kind of like a Teddy Ruxpin. But yeah, that's cool. I remember all those days back at Deep Ellum, and I feel bad about Deep Ellum. It seems like it just goes like this and like this, And
yeah, it's tough.
This was the one time that I thought it was really going to come out. You got a lot going on down there, and then boom, COVID came and knocked it on its knees again.
I know, it's crazy. But now, there's more office buildings down there, and there's more companies down there, and that's stabilized in some. So that, and people still need places to go eat, and hopefully, we're right around the corner from this COVID shit being done.
Yeah.
And it'll pop back up.
For sure, man. For sure. So have you ever tried to find your Fiat? Maybe I need to find that for you.
No, I thought about it. That and my first car, a 1966 Buick LeSabre.
Whoa.
Those were the two cars that I've looked at various times online to find them and haven't been able to find them.
Was yours a 2-door or 4-door?
My Fiat was a 2-door.
Yeah, no, but the LeSabre.
Oh, LeSabre was a 4-door.
Okay. What color?
Navy, kind of like a deep blue, more than navy, deep blue.
Dark blue. Okay. I'm looking at one right here. I'm going to, if all I need for something like that, and I know you, the computer guy you have the record somewhere, you give me a VIN number and the coloring.
Oh, I don't have a VIN nowhere. You don't understand. Like my dad would give me these cars until I was 24, maybe. I didn't own a car that cost more than $250. So there are no VIN numbers nowhere.
I understand. Well, maybe we'll just find you one like it, and I'll park it in your yard one day and run away.
There you go. That would be cool.
You know what? It's time for me to get a beer and what have you. So I'm sure you're not drinking, but cheers. So you guys got a practice today or what?
No, we're down in Houston. We play the Rockets tonight, and then we play the Milwaukee Bucks tomorrow night at home.
Now, are you going to these games, or are you still staying at home?
No, I'll go to the games because I'm within the NBA protocol. So that means I have to get tested once a day, every single day. And on game days, sometimes they'll have me test twice.
Are you doing the nose swab?
Vaccinated. What's that?
They do the nose thing on you?
Yeah.
Man, your nose is probably as sore as mine was in the 90s.
Yeah, maybe. It's not so bad now, but yeah, we had to do the same thing with Shark Tank. They put us in a bubble to shoot Shark Tank, so it was the same type of drill.
Now, a lot of people out there don't know. You put in a good word for me. I had 2 good interviews out in L.A., and we were trying to get me on to be a shark. And I didn't make it as a guest shark because they had another Richard Branson.
Yeah, and you would have been 10 times better than that dude, boy.
Really?
He had no personality. Yeah. He's a good guy, but no personality compared to you.
Well, see, if I remember correctly, I wanted to walk in, because you guys are all in your suits and everything, and you're making deals for $50,000, $200,000, $500,000, whatever. And I was going to walk in with a duffel bag with $1 million in cash and my cowboy boots and go, I'm from Texas. Let's make some deals.
Yeah, that would have been awesome, man. I still would have stomped you, but it would have been awesome.
Well, let's talk about that, though, because you missed out on one, and I didn't know this until my guys did a little research, but let's talk about coffee meets bagel.
Oh, no, that's I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so these 2 ladies came on, and they didn't want to do a deal. So I gave them a hypothetical where I said, because I was trying to prove to everybody watching that they didn't really want to do a deal. And so I said to them, what would you do if I offered you $30 million? And I knew they'd say no because they don't want to do a deal. But ever since then, they've used it as hype to try to make it seem like I offered them $30 million, which I never did. And that pisses me off.
I have that in my notes. I have that in my notes. I was going to say, to me as a marketer and as a guy who's a brand builder, they didn't want anything to be standing in that room.
No, they didn't want a deal. They were doing it for the commercial.
Exactly.
And so I was like, okay, let me call them out in a way that works. And ever since then, they've just used it. And anytime somebody asks me about it like this or whatever, we're interviewing these people from Coffee Meets Bagel. I'm like, they're so full of shit.
Yeah, I saw right through it. My team brought it in, and I read just enough to go and looked at it and went, they didn't ever want to. They just wanted to stand there and say they turned it down. So
exactly right.
Well, it worked for them. They're supposedly worth $100 million or so now, but
bullshit. Have you ever talked to anybody that was on Coffee Meets Bagel?
I never even heard of it until they brought it to me.
There you go.
There's so much BS going around, and especially, the internet kind of perpetuates it because, if you say it out there, you get enough people to believe in it, it goes crazy. And
no doubt. Let me give you the best example, right? So once every 2 weeks, somebody emails me or DMs me on Instagram and says, I saw your yacht. Can I come out and see it? I'm like, I hate boats. I don't have a yacht. Turns out the guy who used to own Sears, a guy named Eddie Lambert, has a huge yacht called the Fountainhead, and it has a basketball hoop on it. And he told everybody that it was mine. And everywhere on the internet, if you look up Mark Cuban's yacht, it's going to show you pictures of it. And literally, I got 2 letters from somebody for 2 different people. One thanking me because the ship's doctor came onto the dock and resuscitated this lady's husband that had a heart attack. I'm like, it's not my boat. And they even told them then when the doctor came on and helped them. And then another time where a guy did repairs on it and he came up to me at a bar and thanked me for allowing him to do repairs on my boat. The dude, it's just the craziest shit ever.
Well, it seems like you should show up on that boat and go, hey, I'm going to take my boat out for a couple of weeks.
I thought about it. That's what my wife says, right? She goes, we're just going on that boat. I don't care. He owes us.
Yeah, he does owe you. Exactly. It's amazing. But, I experienced the actual opposite side of the internet blitz when I was first starting trying to get Gas Monkey going. I had a guy that really kicked me to the curb a few times because, all these chat rooms and all that was just starting. And he started it never knew him. He didn't know me. He just started talking crap about Gas Monkey. And I'm out there trying to pitch my show because, I created the show and shot on my own sizzle reels. And I'd go into a pitch and they'd be like kind of looking at me leerily. And I'm like, what's wrong? They're like, well, we read this stuff on the internet and he said all these bad things. And I'm like, damn it. He probably cost me 4 years of my life. I had to kind of recover from all these bad things because back then, if it was on the net, it was true.
Everybody thought it was true. Yeah. And it's crazy. People, that's just brutal, right? People get jealous. People are going to talk shit because that's the only time they feel big, right? Hey, let me talk shit about Richard. And, that makes me a hard ass. Fuck you, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. You're in your room, are you at your mom's house wearing a Gas Monkey shirt? You're a fan. You just
right.
For sure. So what's in the future? You got all this NFT stuff and, what's the big things coming?
I think the crypto stuff is really cool. Artificial intelligence stuff is really cool. All the tech geeky stuff, right? All this stuff has to do, when it comes to cars, right? Artificial intelligence with self-driving cars, self-driving vehicles, autonomous vehicles. I think those are all game changers. And, we've been waiting for them for a while, but I really do think as cities start to adapt, I tried to talk to the city of Dallas and I'm like, look, have you ever been to Vegas and you don't ever cross the street on the strip, right? You got to go up over the strip. If we put things like that for crosswalks or expand the tunnels that we have, then Dallas is the perfect city for autonomous vehicles to take off. Because the only thing that really keeps it from happening is that people are afraid of getting run over, because there's nobody there to stop for them. And so if you eliminate those risks, I think Dallas could be a great city, and that would accelerate the adoption of autonomous vehicles.
Well, you'd have to take care of a few of the council members and some of the people that lead this city because I've had my problems here.
Yeah,
Dallas is not the easiest city to work with. They're not the easiest ones to work with, but I've expanded over here and I built a parking lot and you've seen the shop. I'm on kind of a seedy part of town and nothing's fancy and all this. Well, I decided I was going to buy a little stretch of land and put in a parking lot. And the city of Dallas wanted me to put in beautification.
X amount you got to do all that stuff. You got to have the benches and everything.
Yeah, they said I had to have a sidewalk. There's not a sidewalk within 3 square miles of me, and the sidewalk would have ended on each side at nowhere. Where are they going on this sidewalk?
Right.
But, you think they'd be a lot nicer because we bring a lot of tourism just like the Mavericks does, but they were not. They were not. So you have been on my show. That was about, 5 years ago?
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
And we ended up giving that car away for a charity, I believe.
Yep, it was great. Yeah, people still ask me to this day all the time if I still have that car.
Well, I know they that's why I was hoping you'd come over here. I was going to take you for some kind of crazy fast ride in one of my cars or whatever.
And
but
you know what? You were trying to tell me you were going to scare me. It wasn't shit. It was easy, man. There was nothing scary about that ride.
Well, I'll double up on that if you want to play that game.
I'm doing that.
I'll race you with your Lamborghini.
No, I'm not a racer, right? I mean, that takes talent. You can't just walk into a fast car and think you can drive and race, right? I'm not that stupid.
Exactly.
You know?
You should see the footage where I was racing up in Detroit and they gave me a brand new Hellcat and I put it in the wall.
Rawlings is doing a heck of a smoke show, but yeah, Lee is pulling out ahead. Whoa, Richard.
Like right off the starting line. It was a little bit of an embarrassing moment for sure. But it says here too, you did a little bit of acting here in Dallas, that you were on Texas Walker Ranger.
Oh, and I was good, man. But that wasn't the creme de la creme of my acting career. If you really want to see great acting, you have a couple choices.
Entourage.
Right? Entourage season 7 killed it. Sharknado 3. I was like the president. I crushed it. Billions. If you watch the show Billions,
I saw you on there.
Crushed it.
I love Billions. That show is absolutely crazy to me.
It's really good.
What have you. But you played a groomsman on Texas Walker Ranger. Now, obviously, you were single back then, right?
Yeah.
So did you try to go out with any of the ladies that were playing bridesmaids?
No, didn't. And here's the best part of that. They filmed it in my backyard. That was part of the deal, right? And so to film that wedding scene, they put this thing over, this plexiglass type thing over the pool. And they hadn't drained the pool at all. And not during the actual filming, but when they were doing some rehearsals and they had stand-ins, the whole plexiglass thing broke and everybody just went bam into the water. It was crazy.
That's great. Now, I got to back up a second, back to you were mentioning electronic vehicles and autonomous vehicles and everything. Now, I would assume you know Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Okay. How do we get him to give me a chassis so I can build a Gas Monkey styled retro hot rod that's Tesla powered? I mean, I'll pay for it. He doesn't have to give it. I just got to get to the right person.
You just got to keep on banging him on social media and put up like images of what you think it would look like, what you think it would do. And if you tag him on Twitter, he'll see it.
I was thinking that I wanted to do a 70s Good Times van because it's a good flat chassis and call it the Electric Bugaloo.
That would be awesome. He loves that type of shit.
All the shag really carpet irreverent on the inside and the moon window where you can see up into the space. And
if you did a mock-up on it, did some sizzle on it, and put something together, an animation, whatever, that really showed it out, and tagged him, I bet you it would get his attention.
Well, my guys are listening because it's pretty chaotic here because I always tell everybody that we answer every mail, whether it's snail mail, email, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. We're all over it, and it's become a lot. But I've made a lot of good business off of it, especially because I get a lot of references for cars. We've got this car, that car. Just right here in Dallas, just 2 days ago, I got a call on a 73 Challenger in a garage. And I went to go look at it. We're talking like a $5,000 beater car that I might get to sell for $8 or $9 grand, make 30-40% of my money. And turns out right in front of it was a 1957 Mercedes 190 SL with its second owner from 1978. The car's been in Dallas this whole time and nobody knew about it. So I bought it.
What are those worth?
Oh, probably 125, depending on the buyer. They've sold it for as high as 250. It just depends, how many hands are in the room. You know how that auction works.
I've invested money. I've gotten email pitches. I've invested millions of dollars via email pitches. People I still have not met to this day. I invested in these kids. Tim Ellis, who was a Dallas guy who started a company called Relativity Space. And I gave him some money to get started. It just got valued at over $2 billion. Now, I only own a little smidgen of it now because they raise more and more and more money, but you just never know. I mean, you got to be opportunistic and you got to have an open mind no matter where it's coming from. So you're right on. You really
do. I mean, there's a couple of groups now that are trying to start these, I call them partial ownerships, but they're more like asset management with an interest base for cars. So
the fractionalized ownership.
It's not really fractionalized like that. It's more sold to you as an asset. Like you would buy a membership in the company and you own that much percentage of all of the inventory.
Oh, right.
And the inventory is always changing because they'll have a car they bought for 100. Now it's worth 200 and that gets fed back in and everybody gets their
more like
dividend
a fund
checks.
then.
Yeah, it's a fund. And I was looking at doing something along those lines because these things are going through the roof. I bought a deal the other day up in Minnesota. I went up to buy a couple of cars or motorcycle from a collector, and 80-year-old guy, coolest guy on the planet, him and his 80-year-old wife still go trail riding on motorcycles. And I ended up buying the whole place. It's 237 motorcycles, about 100 cars, 4 acres, buildings, you name it. And we're going to be having a big auction with that in the middle of the summer.
And that's cool, right? But turning that into a fund makes perfect sense. Now there's all kinds of legal ramifications and all that shit, but you've got the brand. Why wouldn't you do it?
That's exactly what we were talking about doing. This one's not set up for it. The funds like we were talking about are super big cars, $400,000 cars, $500,000 cars. That the guys can also, if you're a member of the fund, you can come check them out and drive them too.
That's cool.
Drive them for the day or what have you. There's a lot going on in my industry. It's and I'm finally away from Discovery. And, we had a great run. I'm very blessed to have gotten what we got, but I think I'm going to end up living in the old interwebs now and putting out all our own content
why not?
like this.
I mean, because you know as well as I do, like doing a television show is a shitload of work.
It's hard.
And it's never stopping, and you always got to outdo what you've always done, and it's hard to be creative, and you got people from a network telling you're full of shit half the time, right? And kissing your ass the other half the time. And it's not easy to do. And so, I don't blame you. We've been doing Shark Tank. I've been doing Shark Tank for 10 years now. Fortunately,
wow.
I just have to show up for the most part and then help with the businesses after the fact. But the producers, they have to live this shit every moment of every day. And you produced your show. So not only do you have to make it work, but you have to make it all work.
So what's your and this is pretty simple because I'm still practicing trying to figure out how I'm going to make this show podcast thing work. In the real world, it's not like a podcast like what you and I are doing going forward. Like I've got Snoop Dogg on Slate, you know him, and John Cena and Bill Goldberg and things like that. And it's going to be more three-dimensional. Like I'm going to go see them and see their cars and
which is cool. Yeah.
And
very
cool. Take part in some kind of action or what have you, and then bring it into the couch, or like with Guy Fieri, I'm going to go up and cook with him and try to show him up because I am a chef and what have you. So,
I think that's great. And I'm sorry I didn't get to do that stuff. Next time I'll do it with you. But when you talk to Cena, ask him about the story, how I helped discover him.
Oh, really? I will then. I'll hit him on that. Now, we also have another mutual friend, Matt Pittman, down at Meat Church.
Yep.
Yeah, those guys are great and what have you. But, what we need to do, what Dallas needs to have here. Well, let me reiterate the question. Besides autonomous vehicles, what do you think Dallas is missing the most to make us, more of the big city in the middle of the United States, so to speak? A
better than Vegas style casino.
I agree 100%. And you think that that's coming because there's some rumors that we're going to get there.
I'm actually working with the group to try to help them because obviously it would benefit the Mavs to have sports betting, but I'm working with Las Vegas Sands and they're doing all the work. I'm just, advising them on the sports side of it, but they want to get casino gambling passed. And, I talked to some people and I just asked them a basic question. I said, in the entire state of Texas, what is the one landmark that everybody has to go see?
JFK.
And that's it in Dallas. And then they bring up they bring up the Riverwalk and the Alamo in San Antonio.
Correct.
That's it. I mean, you're not taking your bachelor party to Dallas for the JFK, grassy knoll, and you're not going to visit the Alamo for your bachelor party or bachelorette party, and you're not taking a business trip down there because of that, and you're not having a convention down there because of that. We get conventions in Dallas because we're the center of the country. And so if we need a destination landmark where everybody says you got to go to Dallas for BAM, right? And a casino, just a kick-ass, better than anything in Vegas type casino would definitely make it work. And, hopefully start in Dallas and then open them up in other places. Because damn well people are already going to Oklahoma and Louisiana to do casino gambling. And those places are just okay.
Yeah, they're just okay. I mean, I've been up there a few times. I like WinStar, all right. But
yeah, WinStar's great. It's fun.
It is, but it's, what I want to do is I want to have my restaurant, Gas Monkey Bar and Grill, inside the casinos. I'm working a deal right now with Caesars that actually Snoop and Martha and are in on, and they're going to make a little court, hopefully, that I wouldn't say a food court because it's real restaurant style, that has Martha and Snoop Dogg and
cool.
one of the steak guys, whether it's Ramsey or whoever, and then Gas Monkey Bar and Grill. And, so as we're following this legalized gambling in Dallas, we need to make sure that we know we need to have a Gas Monkey Bar and Grill in there because that's a big draw.
Look, and, keep on sending that message to everybody around you and all your fans and everything in Texas that this is good for the state, because there's a reason why gambling hasn't been approved in Dallas to this part. But I think now with all the economic impact of the pandemic and the challenges there, I think people are starting to realize, and as tourism opens up, we need to give people a great reason to come to Texas and to Dallas specifically. And a casino, could you imagine having a Caesars or, pick any of the great casinos in Las Vegas and have something even better here? How cool that would be.
It would be pretty daggum awesome, and I would probably have a gambling problem because I already like to have a good time when I go to Vegas. But I keep two little shoe boxes at my house. One of them's got my gambling money in it, and it goes up and down, and the other one has my emergency get out of jail money in case I do something stupid. But right now, my gambling shoe box is on the plus side. So I'm pretty happy about that. Now, speaking of gambling, I guess because you're a team owner, you can't do any sports gambling whatsoever, huh?
Not at all. Yeah, not at all.
Well, what do you think about the sports gambling as it's coming alive? I mean, it's basically legal everywhere now, isn't it?
Yeah, for the most part, states are adding to it. And look, there's 101 ways to gamble. It's just a question of how. There's lottery tickets, there's daily fantasy, right? And so we lie to ourselves and say, oh, there's no gambling in Texas. Hell no. And, I can't, pretty much every guy I know has got a bookie, and,
exactly.
And so people are gambling. It's just a question of legalizing it. And look what we went through with pot, right? It was a big deal, and then it wasn't a big deal, and now it's becoming legal. And the same thing will happen with gambling. We just got to make sure it's casino gambling so that Texas really gets the full benefit of it.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're, the things that I don't gamble on in Dallas is dating or, of course, now that I'm married, I don't have to worry about that. But I had a crazy few years in between marriages. So it's a wild, wild world out there in Dallas right now. Tell me about this Snapchat thing group that you're in with Warren Buffett.
That was an April Fool's joke.
Okay.
And somebody believed it. Oh my God. I had to tweet about it to tell people this is an April Fool's joke gone wrong, right? Because somebody believed it. So I was on a podcast for crypto, and I was telling the dude, we were just fucking around, and I'm like, yeah, it's been crazy. I'm on, because he was like, do you know any other billionaires? And is there a billionaire's handshake? And I just went with it, right? And so I was like, nah, there's not really a handshake or group, but we have this Snapchat group chat and yada, 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 right? And then somebody picked it up like it was real. Then somebody else picked it up like it was real. I'm talking about Warren Buffett showing his feet, in streaks on Snapchat, right? I'm thinking no one's going to believe this stuff, but hey, like you said, the internet's crazy.
Well, let me tell you who you beat. You beat my millennials in the room because they didn't put it down here that it was fake. They put it down here, so. Yeah, you got these two guys right here.
I told you, they're too old. You need younger. No, I'm just kidding.
I got to get the Gen Zs right. I did a pretty good April Fool's joke, too. We did this thing where I wasn't dressing the way I usually dress and wasn't looking quite right. And my friends all got in front of like the confessional, if you will, sitting on the chair going, we're just a little worried about him. He's just kind of lost his motor is what we called it instead of his mojo. And we got quite a few people on that because we said, you got to go to this link. You got to help him. You got to donate. And of course, when they went to the link, we let them off the hook. So it was pretty funny.
That's great.
We had a lot of people like, holy cow, you had us. Because everybody out there's like, oh my gosh, Richard's not with Discovery. And there's so many kick-ass rumors that I love that I'm just broke and destitute and I'm never going to make it and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I'm fixing to come out and, my goal is to beat everybody and everything that I've done before. Not because I dislike them, but because I like the competitiveness of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what people don't realize about entrepreneurs. Half of it is just being competitive.
That's really all it is. And you're well known for anything competitive, and that's what I like about it. You and I are a lot alike there. It's like, hey, can you build that car? Yeah, well, can you build that car better than he can? Fuck yeah, I can.
Absolutely. Absolutely, right? It's just like, there's somebody younger trying to kick your ass, and you're like, come on, bring it. I got you. Just bring
Exactly. I mean, the format of Fast and Loud, and it's buy a car, fix a car, and then sell the car for profit, right? Or build the car. And one of the biggest things that we got a lot of was we get all these texts going, oh, well, if I had that shop, if I had those tools, I could do that,
Yeah,
and so I'm working on a show that I'm hoping is going to live on the interwebs, or maybe a streamer, where it's like, okay, I'll take in teams, come on in, here's my shop, here's the car, do it. If you can beat 25 days, you get to keep the car, And just call them out.
People just don't realize how much work and how much you got to put your life on the line and what you got to give up just to make it all work.
It really is. I mean, you did it to the status of Greek mythical God, and to me, a lot of people look at it and they'll say, oh, well, he got lucky in the .com, and I'm like, fuck that, he did not. He busted his ass.
I just say which time, right? Take that one out. Which time? You want to talk about all the other times? You want to talk about the fact that I had money before that even happened, and I earned every penny of it? Okay, I'll talk about it.
Exactly. I get a little bit of that. They're like, oh, well, he got on Discovery. I'm like, I shot my own sizzle reels and chased every door in Hollywood for 10 years before I got one to open, So, I do the same thing. I'll tell you a quick, cool story. So I'm walking in a car show or, a swap meet or whatever, and I hear these two guys behind me, and one of them tells the guy, hey, man, that guy's a dick. And I heard it. So I turned around and they're like, oh shit, he wants to fight. And I said, hey, I don't want to fight or anything. I said, but I live in the public eye. I said, why do you think I'm a dick? Or what are you saying? I'd like to know. And he's like, well, my friend said that you were a dickhead. And I was like, well, yeah, but what do you know about that? And did your friend elaborate? And he's like, no. And I said, so do I seem like a, what? And he's like, well, and I said, so you don't know nothing and what have you? I said, I'll tell you what. I said, I got 10 grand for every person you can bring me that has 100% firsthand knowledge that I was a dick. And I said, and I will never run out of money, ever. And he goes, really? I said, yeah. I said, so you go out there and find some people that shows I'm a dick. And he goes, okay. And I turn around and start walking off, and I stop for a second. I look back at him. I said, you just lost 10 grand because that was me being a dick.
Dick to you, exactly. That's a great, I kept on waiting for that to pop up. Good call. That's great.
And he goes, okay, you got me. And we went and had a beer and laughed about it. But
that's cool, right? Because, that happens all the time, right? Where people talk shit about you. Because what else are they going to do, right? It's just like, it's no fun to say, yo, Richard is just the best dude ever. No one's going to turn around for that,
So what I got to do? I got to figure out how to get in on the AA Center with maybe Gas Monkey Bar and Grill. Have a bar in there and raise some
know
hell.
what? Everybody pays for that, right? And it's actually, if you get a sponsorship, then we can try to hook you up, and just email me and I'll connect you with the right people.
I am the sponsor. I mean, I had a bar at the restaurant, I had a bar at the DFW airport in the international terminal, in Terminal D for like 6.5 years. And in the airport, you pay rent divided by your gross receipts divided by your square foot.
Yeah, the airport's a little different than what we do because of our deal with the AC, because we have to split it with the stars. But yeah, just email me and I'll connect you with the right people. I don't even know all the exact details.
Oh, I get it. But I mean, I'm not hammering you on that. I'm just saying at the airport, we were the highest pay renter per square foot for 5 years. That's how many, because we were in the international terminal and everybody's like, oh, gas, because we're in 100 different countries and territories.
I know, it's crazy.
And they still had us closed down because they wanted to put in like a purse store or a watch store. I'm like, if I'm through the airport, I want to get a beer and a burrito or a beer and a taco and what have you. I'm not going to stop and buy a purse.
Yeah, I hear you 100%, man. I mean, if I could figure out why some of these people do what they do, I'd be rich.
They're trying to turn. You are rich, sir. You are rich. But so what? Let me look at my list here. I'm still trying to figure. Oh, that's the other one. Everybody already knows about it, though. You said fuck it and got fined some money.
Yeah.
I think you should just throw it out there because I actually thought about throwing it out on me because with my when I left Discovery, of course, you got to sign contracts and it's nothing that they did wrong or I did wrong. But, one of it is if I disparage them, I have to pay up to $25,000 per occurrence.
Wow.
And I'm trying to figure out which occurrence I want to use. So I'm always writing down on my board, like, do I say this one or do I say this one?
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things, right? You never really know if it's worth it because you feel like it's worth it sometimes, and then you do, and it's like, nah. It's kind of like all the times I've been fined with the NBA. Like when I'm doing it, I know I'm going to get fined, and I think it's worth it. And I think they've all been worth it, but writing that check is never any fun.
Now, do they send those funds to a charity, or does the NBA just absorb it?
Yeah,
okay.
They give it to charity.
That doesn't bother me none at all, then, as long as they're not just absorbing. They should make it to where it goes to the charity of the payer's choice.
Somehow I don't think they'd make that work.
No, that's super cool. I know the NBA does a lot of stuff with the kids and getting them out there and teaching them sports. And that's one of the things that worries me in my industry is, like you said earlier, the millennials and the Gen Zs, they don't care. They Uber, they're not real into anything. And it's no more true than it is in the trades. With the trades, whether it's plumbing or electrical or mechanical or whatever, it's getting real hard to get guys and gals to go into it. And I need to figure out a way to get them more motivated. I do a lot with some of the trade schools and some of the high schools and stuff like that. But there needs to be a movement because people don't understand, like, even, you can go learn a computer skill and get a job making $90,000 or $100,000 a year, but you could also go to like AC and heating school for residential and maybe make 120, 130. Because it's a little bit more labor task and it's got some bonuses in there, but I've got to figure out how to get the
No, I agree 100%. I mean, and apprenticeship jobs for kids, like not everybody's into learning computers or going to get more school, right? And, if you can get them while they're in high school learning about a trade or an apprenticeship, hell yes, man, it's great work. It's needed work. Everybody's going to need plumbing, AC, heat, for a long time to come. And as the weather gets crazier and crazier, that becomes more and more important. When all the shit, the storms hit Dallas, there ain't nobody more valuable than a plumber when all of our pipes started bursting, right? And so I'm with you. I don't think people realize the value and how it's becoming more and more needed, not less and less.
Yeah, so I got to figure out a way, and I've been racking my brain how to do that to get, I don't know, maybe sponsor a school or do some kind of task.
Or put a Gas Monkey garage in one of the local Dallas high schools.
Well, we're in talks with a few of them, and there's a big one going up in Denton that I'm going to go meet with here in a few weeks that's actually putting in a really full garage. Because when I grew up, I grew up on the east side of Fort Worth, and I took small business repair and woodworking and I guess our version of robot making, which was nothing back then, but like connect the dots, and it's so most of those schools over the years have dropped all that because they're too expensive.
Crazy. I mean, I had to take wood shop and all that stuff when I was in high school. I sucked, but yeah, absolutely. My mom was worried about me, so she got me a job laying carpet and trying to be an apprentice, laying carpet as a carpenter or laying carpet, not as a carpenter. And I sucked. But she was worried about me enough to say, you got to have a trade.
Yeah, exactly. Look at me now, Mom, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but, bless her heart, right? Because her heart was in the right place because, I could have just have easily gone the wrong way.
Exactly. I mean, I was a police officer, firefighter, and medic before I was old enough to drink. Okay. And so my dad came from working, 2 to 3 jobs all the time, every day, and then trying to make ends meet. And we didn't have a lot of money or anything. When I quit the fire department, that's one of the first times that I ever saw my dad cry. I mean, he was literally like I'd thrown my life away, and he's like, well, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know, Dad, but I just think I could do better, than where I'm at right now. And no knocking on the police and fire, because, those are the guys that save our lives. But I just felt like there was something different for me, and I had to get out there and see what it was.
Yeah,
and
my
so
dad's similar, right? My dad did upholstery on cars, his whole career, never made more than 40 grand. And, and he would have me come in there and sweep the shop and all this stuff where he worked. And it was like, look, you've got to find a way to build a future for yourself, because he'd never gone to college. My mom never went to college.
Same.
So it's just like you, man, you got to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, my dad said, he goes, no matter what, I just never want you to have to work this hard. And now I'm like, I think I worked a whole hell of a lot harder. This reality crap, it just about killed me.
But what? It didn't break your back or put your life at risk, right? And it didn't it's hard work. No shit. Like my dad, like I just said, my dad worked on cars his whole life. Like he when you would see, he would be sawing the top of a car to turn it into a convertible. When people would pimp out their rides, right? That was my dad helping a lot with that. You had a rip in your car seat. That's what he did his entire, he lost an eye because he had a staple break, before they were using goggles all the time and safety things, just trying to staple upholstery and bam, just broke and lost an eye. It's just his back is brutal, and he just wanted better for his kids like your dad.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hats off to our dads for sure, because
they're
what made us who we are. My dad's kicking away in assisted living, and I'll tell you that the funny thing is he's got Alzheimer's real bad, and I love him to death, and he's the reason that I do what I do, and he showed me a lot about cars and motorcycles when I was young. But what was really crazy is I literally got called into the principal's office the other day at the care center where he lives, because he doesn't really know who I am. He doesn't really know what's going on. He's pretty far advanced Alzheimer's, but he does know one thing. He knows about the lake.
Dad.
Dad's in there racking through it. And I'm like, holy cow. They're like, you got to do something with your dad. And I'm like, I don't know. What am I supposed to do? And
nothing. You do nothing.
Well,
if you know what? If you're going to remember one thing, that's what you want to remember.
He knows that, and when I bring him to the shop every once in a while, I have his car here, and he's like, "That's my car," But it's crazy. But he's a little horn dog in there. I'm like, well, cool. Let Dad have some fun. They're all
Absolutely.
adults. It's just because they're acting like kids doesn't mean anything.
Nothing wrong with that, right?
Oh man! So what's on the big menu for Mr. Cuban this year? What's your goals? Because we haven't been able to travel, we haven't been able to do anything.
Just to get out of town with the family and do something fun where you don't have to stress about shit, right? And not have to worry about my kids and what they're doing all the time. So hopefully we get the vaccine for kids, and they get that, and we just get to go travel and just have fun. Like everybody, man, I'm just done. I'm tired of being stressed.
I'm tired of being locked up. It has not been fun. It hasn't been good for my liver. It hasn't been good for my kidneys. I mean, my wife was telling me the other day, she's like, you're drinking a lot. And I'm like, did you notice there's absolutely nothing else to do?
Yeah, it's brutal. It is absolutely brutal, right? And, other than the Mavs keeping me busy, I mean, yeah, I'm just like you, man. But the snapback, you're always starting to see it, right? The snapback, as people feel that freedom, is going to be off the charts, man. The debauchery in Vegas that's starting to happen now, I'm sure, is just beyond belief. And as more and more people get vaccinated, unbelievable. So,
yeah, if they open it up this summer, Vegas is going to be a good time. The Bahamas are going to be good.
Yeah.
I had planned to take all of 2020 off anyways, and I was taking my new bride, and we were going to go travel the world, go all these places that I've always wanted to go, and I ended up spending the whole time going nowhere. And I'm ready to get out there and have some fun and try some new stuff. But so parting thoughts, parting anything, what's going on?
No, thanks for having me on. You did a great job. Sure. Actually, I'm not so much a collector. I just like to get funky sneakers that I can wear, because the guys on the Mavs, they're all into shoes, right? All into sneakers. So I found this place in Germany that'll make crazy shit, right? So like it's the Nike logo crying, just like bizarro stuff. And so that's kind of like, the sneakers that I don't necessarily collect, but I'll wear around the guys.
Excellent. Well, Mark, I can't appreciate it enough. I mean, and I'm going to take you up on your offer to come out to a game. As a matter of fact, I think you promised me a game back.
Absolutely.
Back when the deal is. I want to sit down on the court side or as close as I can get, so I can show off some of my sneakers and what have you.
You just let me know when you want to come, Rich. I mean, the door's open. Now it's more open than before. So I think our regular season goes into May. I'm thinking that by the beginning of May, end of April, we'll be close to wide open. And so anything is possible.
Excellent, sir. Thank you very much. You have a good time. Everybody.
Great job.
Woo!
Really appreciate it. And thanks to all the millennials.
There you go. Yeah. Y'all fucked up on that one thing. Later, sir.
All right, guys. Thanks.